As electric skateboards become more popular, I realize that they have the exact same problem that electric cars do, in that there's a lot of misinformation and FUD out there. As someone who regularly enjoys going skate packing on my board, I've experienced quite a few of these myself, usually in the form of honest questions that come from a good place. Whenever I pass through a town with all of my backpacking gear on, I usually get asked how far I've ridden that day, and they usually expect an answer somewhere along the lines of just down the road. It's always funny to watch the reactions when I tell them I started the day off over 70 kilometers away. Electric skateboards can be truly powerful adventure vehicles, and I wanted to make this video to squash the 7 biggest myths that I see get passed around. So let's set the record straight. Number 1, electric skateboards are slow. This one usually stems from kids' motorized scooters or the options you'd find at, like, say, a Walmart with woefully underpowered hardware. The truth is, they can go fast, like keeping up with traffic fast. I'm a heavy dude, about 250 pounds, and with my 50-pound backpack full of gear and charging equipment, on my Eskate, I can hit 40 kilometers an hour on flat open road. And my Eskate wasn't even built for speed, it was built for distance. And that's about the slowest top speed that you'll see these boards be capable of. A lot of the higher end ones are capable of 60 kilometers an hour or faster. Heck, there's even one out there with a top speed of 110 kilometers an hour. Yeah, somehow I doubt that if you're passing people on the highway that I would qualify these things as slow. Number 2, electric skateboards are unsafe. So, ignoring what I was just talking about speed, any vehicle is only as unsafe as the person using it. One of the biggest concerns that I see is people incorrectly assume that electric skateboards don't have any brakes. They actually do, in the exact same type that electric cars employ, regen braking. When you hit the brakes, it reverses the flow of electricity and basically turns your wheels into a generator. The resistance slows you down to a stop, and you get a bit of juice back in your battery. I mean, it's not as hard stopping as physical brakes, but it does the job, especially at high speeds. As long as you wear a helmet and pads, keep to a reasonable speed, and keep an eye on what's ahead of you so that you don't hit something that your board can't brake over, you'll be perfectly fine. Number 3, electric skateboards have terrible range. Same as the speed myth, it's those kid scooters and low-grade Walmart offerings that give people the impression that these things can basically only go around the block and back before the battery gives up the ghost. I think most people would be surprised to find out just how far these things can go. Well, it varies based on what motors you have, rider weight, elevation gain, terrain, and things like that. The biggest impact to your range is your battery. Mo batteries, mo range. I have just under 1 kilowatt hour of batteries for my Eskate, and I can do up to 50 kilometers on my board before I have to recharge. And charging usually takes about 3 hours. Most entry-level skateboards can do in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 kilometers, and some of the top-of-the-line boards can do an absolutely mind-boggling 160 kilometers on a single charge. Number 4, electric skateboards are expensive. I mean, if you want one with the top-of-the-line range and speed, yeah, you're going to be taking out a second mortgage on your house. But that's like saying cars are extremely expensive because sports cars cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Entry-level boards with reasonable speeds and ranges, like the one that I built my adventure board out of, are only a few $100s. The only thing separating my board from some of these entry-level boards is a sturdy, expensive deck and some more batteries. Even maintenance isn't that expensive. The batteries last for years when properly taken care of, and the only thing that really breaks with any regularity is belts on belt drive boards, and those cost like $5 for a set of 2. Or maybe you have to replace an inner tube every now and then when you pop one. Number 5, electric skateboards are illegal. At least in North America, it's not illegal to own or ride an electric skateboard wholesale. For the most part, they're treated like bicycles and are allowed to ride wherever bikes are. Bike trails, on the side of the road, on shoulders, etc. Although some cities, especially the larger, more dense ones, might ban them with local ordinance, but as long as you don't ride like a nut job, you usually won't be bothered. Just don't go fast and don't piss off pedestrians. Number 6, electric skateboards are heavy. The biggest contributor to your Eskate's weight is going to be the batteries. The long-range monstrosities absolutely will weigh a lot, but even those can be picked up and carried inside, although you might need to be controlled and direct with where you're going. And with the heavier ones, you can actually lift up one end and just carry it and pull it on the rear wheels. My Eskate with 2 batteries in the case weighs about 25 pounds, and it is pretty easy to pop up and carry inside coffee shops and stores when I'm stopping to restock or charge up. And a lot of the entry-level boards with their smaller batteries are usually only in the range of about 15 to 20 pounds. And number 7, electric skateboards can't handle off-road terrain. Now, this depends. There's 2 main types of electric skateboards. You've got street boards and you've got all-terrain boards. My board, which I built primarily for paved trails and light aggregate, has street wheels, and it's been doing perfectly fine on hard-packed dirt trails and rail trails with a very light, fine layer of gravel. The only issues that I've really had are the wheel pulleys getting chewed up by gravel flying up into them. But if you truly want to go off-road, boards with all-terrain wheels can do exactly that. Pair this with an enclosed drive system like a gear drive, and you've got yourself a pretty good trail ripper. Personally, I've got my eye on the Meepo Hurricane Ultra as my new adventure board for this exact reason. So, I mean, electric skateboards definitely take more of a learning curve, but they're capable, efficient, and powerful little vehicles that can really get you places if you respect them. And if you want to see what kind of crazy trips I get up to with my board, check this card.